Hello, I'm Jennifer, and welcome back to the coffee table. It's been a minute since I have gotten to share a book with you, and nerd alert, I have a good one. I recently finished The Making of Biblical Womanhood by Beth Allison Barr. The subtitle is How the Subjugation of Women Became Gospel Truth. Basically, the book examines how biblical womanhood came from pivotal events in history more than it came from biblical text. The reason I got this book was because I had been following the author online for a while. I had heard lots of interviews with her about this topic, and I thought this book would be a good resource. But honestly, I didn't think I would learn much new by reading it. Boy, was I wrong. The author, Beth, is a historian, a professor, an associate dean of the graduate school at Baylor University. Her book is part historical research of how the modern view of biblical womanhood came into being, and part personal story of how her life was completely upended because she and her husband believed in a woman's right to teach and lead in the church. There were parts of this book that I could relate to so directly that it took my breath away. And there were other parts that were so far outside anything I had ever experienced as a woman that I just read them in shock. But I think the thing that will stick with me the most is how I have been influenced, even subconsciously, by patriarchy and the evangelical view of biblical womanhood. I think it is something I will have to keep dismantling bit by bit over time. I highly recommend this book if you're interested in learning more about how women throughout history have been preaching and teaching and following God's call on their lives. There's so many stories about Christ-following women from medieval times I had never heard, including some dragon slaying. It was hard to pick a passage to share, but I thought this paragraph from the last chapter would give you a good sense of the whole book. From Beth Allison Barr. I have a mug in my office that bears the slogan, "Write Women Back into History." My goal isn't just to change the stories I teach in my history classes, to let women know that they are just as much a part of history as men are. My goal is also to change the future by more accurately understanding our past. What if evangelicals remembered women like Christine de Pizan and Dorothy L. Sayers? What if we remembered that women have always been leaders and teachers and preachers even in evangelical history? What if our seminaries used textbooks that included women? What if our Sunday school and Bible study curriculum correctly reflected Junia as an apostle, Priscilla as a co-worker, and women like Hildegard as preachers? What if we recognize women's leadership the same way Paul did throughout his letters, even entrusting the letter to the Romans to the deacon Phoebe? What if we listen to women in our evangelical churches the way Jesus listened to women? Women stand with a great cloud of witnesses. We always have. It is time, far past time, for us to remember. So, pick up this book or look up an interview with Beth Allison Barr, and until next time, keep reading and keep listening.